And after is a relationship that's characterized by acceptance in spite of the differences now and in the future. What's your goal? What you trying to get to? What you're trying to get to is a relationship that's characterized by acceptance in spite of the differences that we have. That's what we're going after. So, what that means is your responsibility when they get on your last nerve is not to focus on the differences. When you get in the ring, your job, when you get around the table, when you send in a letter, when they respond back to you with another letter, your job is not to focus on the differences. I promise you, they're not hearing the sermon, so they're going to take you to the differences, right? So it blows my mind every single time when I hear people argue like this. Here's what they argue. You cannot be a Christian and be a Republican. You cannot be a Christian and be a Democrat. I'm like, that is so small-minded and unwise to make that statement. That is funny. But people do it all the time. And so there are people who are teed off if you say you love Jesus and you vote one way or the other. And I'm like, really? Really? And so here's what they do. They focus on that issue and miss out on the relationship with the person. It happens not only in your family, it happens in churches. It happens in life groups. It happens in our country. And we are like, God is a... Well, I'll tell you what, that stuff drives me nuts. God is a... Can you quit trying to put God in a box, please? Can you please quit trying to put God in a box? Anyways, when you get in the ring, this coming weekend, your responsibility is to make sure the relationship, you're characterizing it by acceptance, and you're not, exclusively not, focused on the issue. If you don't do that, they will drag you into the argument again, and you will be frustrated and teed off. Do not let them drag you into the argument. Why? Because you focus on the connection with the person. So just like Jesus accepted you the way you were, and just like he continues to love you the way you are, even when you mess up, it's your job not to focus on the issue, the dispute, but to focus on accepting the person because God created them in his image too. You're not the only one. That makes sense, everybody? What's your goal? The goal is a relationship characterized by acceptance in spite of past and future differences. So here's what it means. That means that even when they say, because here's what some of y'all are saying right now. If I do that, they're going to think I'm condoning their foolishness. That's what you're going to say, right? That's what some of you just said. You said, let me text that question. That means they're going, right. They're going to assume that you have agreed with them. That's okay if they believe that. You know it's not true. You're prioritizing the relationship over the issue. You don't have to announce, no, by talking to you, I am not saying that I agree with you marrying that fool, because he is still a fool. What you doing? It's not what you say. What you're saying is, I'm going to accept you, period, because God created you in his image, and just like God loves me in spite of my foolishness, I'm going to love you no matter what. And so you're accepting the person the way they are. That's your assignment. That's the goal. So do not let them take you to the gutter by starting the argument. Focus, ladies and gentlemen, on accepting the person as God's creation. Is that all right, everybody? Okay, good. Now here's the second part. Second thing is you have to have a game plan. Here's the game plan. The game plan is you are pursuing a safe relational environment. That's the game plan. What you're pursuing is a safe relational environment. Okay, here we go. It's like turtles. If you ever prod them, guess what they do? They pull their head in, and you speak to the shell. We do that all the time. Human beings do the very same thing. You speaking to somebody's shell the whole time. You didn't even know. They are through with you because they just think you're tough-headed, don't want to discuss nothing, and you just want your way to be your way all the time. So we're not trying to get there. What we're trying to do is create an environment where we are willing to talk, where we are willing to dialogue. Here's why this is important. Because reconciliation leads or paves the way. Listen, please don't miss this. Reconciliation paves the way to a healthy relationship, which paves the way to influence. You cannot get influence without a healthy relationship. Some of you parents know that. You've been telling your kid, and you've been fighting them, and you've been trying, and somebody that's known them, listen, for 2 hours can influence them more than you because they feel safe in those 2 hours. Might be naive, might be foolish, but they've made them feel safe. And because they feel safe, they have more influence than some of y'all. So here's what we're trying to do. Create a safe relational environment so that we can have a dialogue where you're valuing them. Now, there are two ingredients for a safe and healthy environment: humility and acceptance. I'm wearing the apron, I'm bringing it in here, and I'm going to say, I'm here to serve you. Number two, I'm going to accept you. And I'm not looking at the stuff that separates us or divides us. I'm looking at your value to God. And because I'm focusing on that, I'm going to love you in spite of the stuff you've done in the past that hurts me and the stuff I know you're going to do in the future that hurts me. And I'm going to love you too. Because here is my problem for some of us that we don't realize. When you focus on this, please do not miss this, because you want to justify that this is not the case. When you focus on this and not the person, you're equally as guilty as they are. I know you don't believe it. Here's why. Because it is arrogance. Buddy, all right? It is arrogance that is forcing you not to look past it and look at the creation that God created. And it's arrogance, and here's the second word. It's also safety. What you want is safety. You don't want to feel hurt. You don't want to be hurt again. You don't want to be any of that. And if Jesus didn't want to be hung on a cross, we wouldn't get to enjoy the stuff we enjoy today. Listen, just don't miss this. Please just hear me out. Because it is our pride, and it is our arrogance, and it is our desire and craving for safety that allows us not to connect with our loved one. And when you do that, what you're saying is, God, I'm not willing to be humble. I'm not willing to take the first step. And so their thing that they did to you looms larger, and you think they are doing something that's worse than you're doing to them. And from God's perspective, you're not going to like this. From God's perspective, pride. You ready for me, y'all? From God's perspective, pride, the ability and the idea that you do not want to humble yourself and make the connection in spite of the difference is the same sin that got Satan kicked out. Pride. So be careful, please, when you want to elevate what they have done as way much larger, much bigger than the thing you are currently doing, which is saying, never in my life will I connect with you. Because then you're just saying, I'm willing to be arrogant and to side with the enemy than to make a connection. I am not justifying what they did. Don't throw it out. I'm not justifying what they did. I'm not saying that what they did was right. I'm not saying it wasn't painful. I am saying you stoop to their level when you say, no matter what you do, you will never be forgiven for what you've done to me. You just stoop to their own level as far as God's concerned. So the first thing we're doing is we're saying we're getting in there a relationship characterized by acceptance, not by the differences. The goal, that's the goal. The game plan is that we are going to create a safe relational environment. Why? Because it is only when people are safe that they will speak. It is only when people are safe that will tell you what's really on their heart. If they think they're going to get in trouble for doing it or it's going to cause a fight, then they're not going to do it. And then thirdly, here we go. Now you get the hook. Here's the hook. I did two black songs. Let me do a white song. Here we go. This is the hook. Her name, all I'm going to do is tell you the name. You tell me her most popular song and the hook, okay? Adele. Not Rolling in the Deep. That ain't the hook. What's the hook? What's the hook? Come on, don't pretend as if you go to church every day of the week. Come on. What's the hook? Come on. There it is. You could have had it all. Okay, this ain't a choir. Hold on, this ain't a choir. Who y'all going there already? This ain't a choir. Talking about he could. Here we go. So what's your hook? You're in the ring, you're in the ring, you're in the ring, you're in the ring, you're in the ring. What's your hook? Don't miss this. What's your hook? Here's your hook. Please don't miss this. This is it. Just one phrase I want you to remember all the time. The best defense is no defense. That's your hook. The best defense is no defense. Here's why. Because once you try to defend, you're trying to win something. Once you try to win something, the person is not no more important. You are. And so now you have just disqualified accepting the person and creating a safe environment. Say it with me. The best defense is no defense. So here's what I mean. I promise you, they're going to bring it up. But do not go to the gutter with them. Don't say they're going to bring it up. They're going to say, something like, oh, you love my ex now, don't you? Don't go there. You respond with something like this. He's got on some good outfits today. Then you switch the topic. So, Mama, how you doing? I promise you, if you ever go to, no, I still can't stand up on the bar. I'm just going there because I want to connect with you. It don't work. That means now you're going down the path they want you to go down. Don't go down that path. You do, and don't do the opposite. No comment. No comment. No comment. Jesus help me. No comment. Jesus help me. No comment. And don't bring Jesus into that. Okay, Lord, give me the Holy Ghost right now, Jesus. Your mama talking to you right here. And then you're going to spiritualize. Your job is internal, says Jesus. Fill me with your spirit as I go over here. To simply prioritize the relationship and accept them in spite of our differences. And just pivot and go to another topic. Is that all right, everybody? All right, so you if you want a little ringtone, come up with a little beat, choose it. But here it is. The best defense is no defense. Once you go into the defensive posture, you're trying to win an argument. And that's not our responsibility. Because our goal is that the relationship should be characterized by what, church? Acceptance. The relationship should be characterized by what, church? Acceptance. Not the differences. The game plan, simple. A safe environment. Because that's when you have the most potential to influence. And then what's your hook? Here it is. The best defense is no defense. I have nothing else for you. That's it. That's all y'all can handle. That's going to carry you through Christmas. God bless y'all. Let's pray.